Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. A royal expert believes Prince Harry has become totally dependent on Meghan for his social life. Royal author Phil Dampier told Fabulous magazine, "I get the impression he hasn't got a circle of drinking buddies he can unwind with in Montecito, which has a population of older people, and I'm sure that takes its toll. Not only has he lost his family, his royal status and military connections, but he's also lost a lot of friends." Separately, Dampier told GB News, "I'm told on good authority that he's quite lonely, he's quite isolated in California." Maybe that's part of Meghan's plan, to isolate him from his friends as well as his family. I just don't feel that he's got a group of mates to go out and have a few beers with and unwind and relax, and talk about matey men things that we all like to do down at the pub. He's become completely dependent on her for his social life, and when we see him at things like the Beyoncé concert, basketball matches, and things like that Formula One he was at, he always seems to be with sort of corporate types, people that he works with. He doesn't seem to be with a group of mates, and I think this is having quite an effect on him. And when you think Christmas is coming out next month, it's been the third Christmas he hasn't seen his family, I think he's becoming quite lonely and quite isolated. I don't have any information about him wanting to move back here, but I think it's starting to take its toll on him. Tom Quinn, author of Gilded Youth, An Intimate History of Growing Up in the Royal Family, said, "Harry thought that when he went to America, and certainly after the Queen died, Charles would say, 'Okay, you can be working royals for half the year, but after the Oprah interview and the book Spare, Harry's going to end up exactly like his great-uncle, living in France, bored with nothing to do.'" He compared Harry's situation to that of Edward VIII, who abdicated the throne to marry American Wallis Simpson. Quinn said, "It's caused such a break in relations between the new king and the late Queen Mother that the rift lasted for the rest of their lives. It caused this terrible gulf because both sides felt betrayed. Edward just realized that by giving away his role in life, he wouldn't automatically be given some other job that was almost as important. He would just be cut off. As for Harry, I think this rift is going to be very difficult to heal." Sussex biographer Omid Scobie has accused King Charles of being ridiculous and out of touch. During the week, the King and Queen visited Nairobi National Park, where a red carpet was laid on the soil awaiting their arrival, and the royal couple later walked along the carpet to reach their destination. Scobie tweeted, "Even if this was a choice made by the hosts, and it probably was, the optics of the King and Queen walking on a red carpet to avoid soil at Nairobi National Park are pretty ridiculous and out of touch. A clued-up palisade could have easily asked for it to be removed." Major spoilers for the final season of The Crown will follow after the break. Spoilers for the final season of The Crown are ahead. The Daily Mail reports The Crown is set to anger the royal family once again by portraying Princess Diana as pregnant in the final series, according to a source. The Mail also reports the Netflix series will repeat unfounded speculation that the late Princess of Wales was killed by an establishment plot. Per the source, Harrod's boss, Mohammed Al Fayed, will be heard making the untrue claims that the royal was killed in a plot to stop her marrying his son Dodi, who died alongside her. This is likely to anger William, as will the scenes in which Diana reportedly appears as a ghost. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams told Mail Online that the idea that they have even contemplated Diana as a ghost seems absolutely weird, particularly considering the controversial elements already swirling around the show. It's going to be a controversial series anyways, with what they are already showing, the Panorama documentary, her death and the funeral, and in my opinion, it should never have made this final series in the first place. The whole idea that show creator Peter Morgan has scripted ghostly appearances by Diana is utterly tasteless. It is pitiful that someone with his skills has reduced what is undoubtedly a tragedy to something that he knows perfectly well will be controversial. The idea that he has scripted a ghostly figure of the mother of Prince William and Harry is obviously tasteless, and the whole concept, whatever the ghost says or does, seems utterly bizarre. We may well hear what they think of the portrayal, but the trouble is, if they do make a statement, it will only add to the hype surrounding the Crown, and there you have a problem. If Prince William or Prince Harry were to comment on this, it would make headlines, and even more people would watch it than they intended to. Whether they would watch such a thing, I have no idea, of course. The King will absolutely have no comment at all. I think the royal family decided long ago what they think of the Crown, that it seems to have totally forsaken taste. It also seems to be an attempt to get publicity, and you get the impression that there is nothing they wouldn't do to get publicity. The Crown is controversial enough as it is, and I really believe there should not be a final series considering the damage it's done already. What is so strange is that this series was already controversial, and to put a ghost on top of that is absolutely deplorable and tasteless. Brand and culture expert Nick Eade told Mail Online, "The producers have said that Diana Ghost portrays visualizations of innermost thoughts, but of course this will be quite triggering and could cause distress. William and Harry, I am sure, will also find this difficult to acknowledge, as they have no idea what Diana was feeling and where her emotions were during that time, so this factional drama becomes one of fantasy and speculation, which could appall the pair as it changes the narrative of the memory of their beloved mother." Despite previous reports that the Crown would never show the actual crash in which Diana was killed, that may have changed. The Daily Beast reports photographs sneaked off the set have showed a perfect prop reproduction of the post-crash Mercedes in which Diana was travelling when she was killed, being pored over by forensic scientists. The crushed and disfigured car, with a wheel hanging off at an angle, is perhaps one of the most recognisable wrecks in the world. One source told the Mail, "I think a lot of people will find it quite sick that they were into such detail to recreate how the car was smashed up. I think it's going to cause a lot of upset with the royal family. If it was any other family, I'm not sure they'd do it." One source told the Mail it seemed that the makers had jumped the shark. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on the app of your choice. And if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.